How you doing? I'm Christopher James. I'm standing here with UFC fighter Michael Johnson. First of all, Michael, honor to meet you, man. How you doing today?
Good, good. Thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, anytime, man. It's an honor to have you on the show. So we're here at the MMA Expo, the Beyond the Mat Expo today in Boca Raton. What brought you here?
Just coming out supporting some of my teammates. They were in the grappling matches earlier, and they did pretty good. I missed a couple of them, so I came real late. But I was doing some stuff for Jocko Clothing and also F3 Nutrition, which are two of my big sponsors. So I'm just out here and supporting the team and the cause, pretty much.
So you're here. Are you training here in Florida now? Or are you part of the Black Zillions?
Yeah, Black Zillions. Ever since day one of getting down here, man. So kind of. I was lucky, I came down right when the team got started, and I stayed ever since.
Well, you get to train with guys now like Rashad Evans, Alistair Overeem's part of your team. So how is it, when you're training with these guys that have been world champions around there, and how does it get you motivated? It's
good, man. Just watching these guys train, soaking up so much information from them. I think that's the main focus of me. I just, I stick to Rashad like he's my brother. I try to mimic what he does, inside and outside of the cage, and pick up some of his training habits. And it's been working out ever since. So I can't complain.
So you got a fight coming up here shortly, don't you?
Yeah, December 29th, UFC 155.
Oh, you're on that end of the year card is always a special deal. So it's kind of cool to be on that one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is cool. It's a big card too. I'm real excited to get out there and fight.
And who you fighting?
Miles Jury. He was on a couple seasons of The Ultimate Fighter. So,
yeah, I know who he is. I'm already looking at you, and I can already see it in your eyes. You're looking knockout, aren't you?
I'm looking to get in there and knock him out. I'm not looking past him, but I should go in there and win this, no problem. But you never know. It's a fight. He's a tough opponent, but I'm ready for it.
Well, based on his game and your game, what's the strength that you're going to bring? Is it straight up your striking that you're going to take to this guy, or are you going to try to put him on the ground and beat the crap out of him down there?
Striking, wrestling defense, wrestling offense. He's good on the ground. I've trained with him. I know him. He's a friend of mine. So I'm gonna kind of stray away from his strengths and welcome him into my world and keep it on my feet.
So now, title contention. Do you see yourself anywhere in the near future making yourself into that title picture? Because that's where everybody wants to be, obviously. How far away do you think you are?
Of course, I see myself in that picture. I think I'm at least a year away. I get done with Miles. I go back I go into next year, and hopefully they give me a top 10 opponent, and it goes from there. So once I get a real solid top 10 opponent and I beat him, it's only a matter of time before I'm fighting for the title.
So when you say a solid top 10, who do you think, if after you have your fight with Miles Jury, if you win that fight, who do you think is in the top 10 that would give you a catapult, shall we say, to get you into that ranking, to get you a title shot?
Man, anybody. You got Cowboy out there, which I would love to fight him. Anthony Pettis, Joe Lozon. Even though he's not, I consider him being a top 10 opponent. Gray Maynard's another one. So just any other powerhouses in this division, man. Anybody in front of me, that's who I want to fight.
Yeah, and 155 is still probably one of the most stacked divisions in UFC, and it's probably always going to be that glory weight class. So you're a part of a big weight class with a lot of guys, a lot of history there. Ben Henderson, obviously the champion. Where do you see this fight coming up now? Ben Henderson's coming up against Nate Diaz. Do you think Ben's going to be able to hold on to that title, or is the Diaz brothers going to work all over him?
No, Ben's going to keep his title. I think he's going to run through Diaz. It's just physical attributes. The only way Diaz beats him is on the ground somewhere, and I don't think it'll go there. He obviously won't take Ben down, and if Ben takes him down, it's pretty hard to submit him. So I just think he's outclassed and outmatched in this fight.
All right, now speaking of other fights and fights that are being talked about, everybody's talking about super fights. GSP versus Anderson Silva, or Anderson Silva versus John Bones Jones. In your opinion, should those fights happen, either one of them, and if they do, which one would you be looking forward to the most?
Well, see, there's still people at 170 that need a fight for the title. I think Johnny Hendricks is a solid guy that needs to be up there and fighting for the title before GSP fights Anderson Silva. But if any of them do happen, that's the one I would want to see is George and Anderson. I don't think Anderson needs to fight John, because I think John's just too big, and I think he's outmatched in that. So.
Yeah, well, Anderson stepped up at 205 before and fought at 205 and won at 205. For GSP to step up to 185 and fight against a much bigger Anderson Silva, in my opinion, I think the fight would, to me, I would want to see Jones and Silva, because those two are evenly, matched as far as size, ability. Obviously, you got to look at Anderson Silva, but for me, it's those two guys. Because GSP, I think, like you said, 170, there's guys out there that need to fight for the title. But I also think the same thing at 185. I think Chris Weidman, if he wasn't hurt, should be getting a shot at that title because I think he's earned it. What about you?
Yeah, yeah, but I think he's still got to fight a couple more people before he gets his title fight. But it's not up to me; it's up to those guys. But I think Bisping, who he's fighting Boach or something, isn't he? I can't really remember. No, he's fighting Vitor.
Right.
I'm thinking on my team. So and also Vitor's another guy that Chris Weidman needs to eventually fight before he does fight for the title. So I don't think he's earned it, but I don't think he deserves one. Not quite yet, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. Now, the other fight I'm going to ask you about before I let you go is John Bones Jones is going to be fighting Chael Sonnen after the Ultimate Fighter. Do you think Sonnen should even be considered for a title shot? I know he can run his mouth and sell a fight, but there are guys out there who definitely deserve a title shot, way ahead of Sonnen in my book. He's lost his last 2 fights for a title. He could talk smack against anybody in the world. He's the best fight promoter with his mouth in the world, but does that warrant, a title shot? Basically, he lost. It's like doing bad at your job and getting rewarded. You think that's right?
I don't think it's right, but hey, my hat's off to him. He's talked his way into 3 title shots in his last 3 fights, I think. So for him to do that, that's special. So he deserves it if he can talk his way into it. But as far as fighting and deserves it, no, I think he definitely needs to fight somebody else before he's fighting for that title. But with that being said, who else is in a rush to fight John for the title right now? So, that's another thing you got to look at. So you never know. So we'll see how this fight plays out.
So are you going to stay on your game plan and do fights the way you do normally and work your way to them, or you're going to take a page out of Chael's book and talk your way into a title shot?
I can do both, man. I would love to talk my way into a title shot if I could, but at the same time, I want to fight my way up to it, but I'll never say no to a fight, so that's for sure.
All right, so if you were going to talk your way into a title shot, give it to me right now. How would you talk your way into a title shot? Let's see it.
You put me on the spot.
I got to, man. It's TV.
Give me the title. Shit. That's how it is, So I don't know. That'd just come off spontaneous. We'll see. I would have to go in and knock out the number 1 contender real bad, and then I could run my mouth about it. So we'll see how it is.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me here for the show. Everybody, before I let you go, how do we stay in touch with you on Twitter, Facebook, all that? What you got?
At Follow the Menace is Twitter, MichaelJohnsonMMA.com. Also, check out JockoClothing.com, Jocko Hybrid Training Center, Athletic Sports Management. So Black Zillions, of course. So, we're doing some big things in Florida, so everybody stay tuned.
Well, everybody, you heard it right there. That's Michael Johnson. And for my man Michael Johnson, which I just said twice, I'm Christopher James, your cage side.